Friends, welcome to Battletech Oath of Endosteel, episode 33027, part 10. And this will probably not be the last one of the, I mean, we're at least looking at 11, maybe a 12. Still working on getting some guests on for this show. It'll happen sometime. Previously, I made a comment this week about Kuro Seppaku, which has electrified the audience, that I called him a waffly flip-flopper. And I believe we've settled down on he's deeply troubled.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
There was a specific word. I can't remember now. What was it? But yeah, he's like skirting the line of turmoil.
Deep turmoil.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Tormented.
Tormented was the word I think you liked.
I'm so glad we got our Kuro stands in the audience.
Yeah. Friends. Well, I mean, the biggest Kuro stan is the one who stood up for him. Kuro himself.
You mean the player?
Yes, you. Let us turn our attentions to the moment. Now, you said you have something, you want to reverse time a little bit, break causality, and the ambassador is turning to leave after having presented you with the scroll indicating that Supash Interhar, the smiling one, the head of the internal security forces and all Kharitan military intelligence, has essentially said, we're going to kill you soon.
Oh, yeah.
You should have asked how soon.
Yeah.
Missed your opportunity.
He's turning away from you.
As they're turning away, I simply bow slightly, not in like a respectful way necessarily.
You remember he did that as well. He also bowed very slightly in a non-respectful way.
So like basically as that's happening, I say, you have a quiet night. And then I make my way towards, I'm going to say Jasper.
Okay. We are going to follow the ambassador as he goes out to the waiting car. He gets in the car and all of a sudden he's drenched in sweat. The other person sitting in the back of the car, but they're in shadows, so we can't actually see them. We can only see their lit cigar. Goes in Japanese, so it's subtitled at the bottom. He says, I'm surprised to see you alive. I thought for sure that they would kill you for this insult. And the man goes, I have survived my mission, master, and now we can begin our revenge against the fallen family. And the person sitting across from him in the shadows goes, good. Truly, anyone who would bear such an insult and allow the messenger to live is as weak as the smiling one says. All praise to Indrahar-sama. And then we cut back to you walking up to Jasper.
They want us to murder people at a party?
Yeah.
Good God.
That would be total. Listen, it would be totally normal in Draconis Combine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is the Fed's sons. Come on. We have standards.
We have standards here.
To be fair, there was a thought in the back of Kuro's mind of like a waiter or waitress walking by. And like him grabbing a cocktail from it and then just like having a moment of looking at each other, like a knowing look of, and then looking at the ambassador. And so I kind of imagine that there's been a little bit of a telephone of people essentially following the ambassador as they're exiting. And as he's like sweating in front of the car, there's just someone in the.
No, he doesn't sweat until he gets in the car. Listen, do you want your people to be following this car?
I want them to identify the car and tag it. Okay,
I mean it's a Kharitan consulate car. It's not that hard to identify because it has diplomatic plates.
Sure, I guess more like specifically like the person, the ambassador itself.
Okay.
Just making sure that there's some sort of follow.
He had ambassadorial credentials, but he isn't the actual ambassador.
Right. So like if possible, identify the person that's in there, that kind of stuff. I know it's gonna be hard, but
No, I mean, he came to a party and showed his face inside the party. It's gonna be really easy to identify who he is.
well, no, more the person that was in shadows, I guess.
You're right. That is going to be impossible.
Yeah.
For one thing, they're not inside the car.
Yeah. Well, so that's why I want them to follow. So kind of like again, hiding in the shadows.
All right, then you just get a report later that the car drove directly back to the console.
Okay, fine. So I'm walking over to Jasper. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. Probably catch me at the buffet. Looking over the options, grabbing something to eat.
Oh, since there's like a Space Vegas theme, there's probably like a whole section with like gambling tables. There's like a craps table and like a place to play poker. Table. Yeah, place to play poker and stuff.
Oh man, I'm just imagining.
Your decorating taste is awful.
Yeah, I'm imagining it's the.
It's a theme, AP.
I'm disgusted.
I'm imagining the scene from oh my god, what is it? The Last Jet, one of the Star Wars movie where they had the Vegas scene.
Yeah,
that's what I'm remembering. The Last Jedi, I think is what it was, but I can't remember now. Anyway,
The Last Scion.
One of those new ones.
Yeah, one of the new ones.
I know what scene you're talking about, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm imagining that. That's essentially the decor of the fucking party. Like,
I mean, yeah, like over the top Vegas inspired, like
space
glitz and
Vegas.
glam. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I walk up to Jasper and any good selections?
Oh, hey Coro. What's up? You should try these pigs in a blanket. They're great.
Of course, Lachlan would have pigs in a blanket.
Who would? It's a great treat.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes. And Kuro like picks up a plate and starts pulling it, and then kind of edges a little bit closer to Jasper and says, "You should be aware that I just received a death threat from the Cretan intelligence."
I like drop the half-eaten pig in a blanket, drops in my mouth, back on the plate.
Keep calm.
Gulp. Gulps audibly. Excuse what?
Yes.
Holy shit. Well, what, dude? What did you do? And I like grab him.
Did you know that my family originated from Cretan intelligence?
Yeah, I know, but they were here? Tell me you killed the messenger.
Wow.
Oh my god. Okay.
Unfortunately, there was. There was decorum.
Oh my god.
That left me uncertain.
Okay, this is really bad.
Well,
these people don't.
The ghost hand, yes.
They're not joking.
No. I'm quite aware. Do you have a means of communicating with others outside of the party right now?
No. No. Where is your bug-out bag, and how quickly can you get out to maybe like the periphery or something so you have a chance of living longer than whenever? I ask half jokingly.
Well, unfortunately, my family's been dealing with them for quite some time, so we have some precautions around this.
Okay. Well, after that last fight at the movie theater, let's all agree to beef up our precautions.
That is one of the proposals that I have for the Senate floor.
Okay. Well,
assuming I make it there. That said, would you be willing to join me in talking to, maybe not. And like Kuro eyes over to Lady Lafayette. How is your relationship with Lady Lafayette?
You have a better relationship with her than Jasper does. Jesus.
Well, no.
So,
like,
I'm gonna describe,
like there's
I'm gonna
periods.
describe a fucking barren world that's been barren for the past like fucking since the first Secession War. It's like, do you know about Gallipoli? Yeah, it's about like that, man. So real great. You know, just like some bombed out moon with no atmosphere. It's like it's about that rocky. Okay.
I see. Well, then I'll find Lachlan and discuss something with her, because this
Yeah, you better. This is dangerous, man. You know they're gonna cut, man.
I
they're gonna
warn
come
you.
for me now, man. They're gonna lean on me and probably try to kill me to get to you. I'm gonna be bait. Not gonna be bait someday. Thanks, man.
That is why I'm warning you now. And please,
I appreciate it. Look, man. Look, I'm joking. It's just this is a lot to take on at a party, Kuro. I was just gonna be here, have a good time.
Yeah, well,
I'm glad you did. And now it's like, all right, well, I gotta look out for you now. You know, you're not facing this alone.
I could have spared your feelings, but I figured it'd be best to just all be on the same page for this.
Yeah, good. Well, be careful. Be careful who you tell about this.
Yes, of course.
Everyone you tell becomes a liability.
I know. All right. I'll talk to you soon. And Kuro will walk off and try to find
the smarter thing. Sorry, real quick, just slight retcon. I wish that everyone who you tell becomes a loose end, and you know the ghost hand doesn't leave loose ends hanging.
Indeed.
Sorry, that's more what I was trying to say.
I hear you. So yeah, Kuro will walk off and try to find Lachlan. Enjoying nice pigs in a blanket.
Lachlan is probably at the craps table, and like I don't know if any for people on the call and for the viewers, I don't know if anyone has like seen a craps table, but it's like a very like communal game, right? So everyone's like cheering and shouting on, and like everyone's got money on the table. So yeah, like Lachlan's got the dice and he's like makes a roll. Is like, oh yeah, everyone's like cheering, and then you know Kuro walks over. He's like, all right, Kuro, come on, get in the game. We're on a hot streak. Everyone's winning.
Right, of course. And Kuro picks up the dice and throws it, and just for narrative's sake, let's say it like rolls on the best dice ever because he's got the lucky trait.
Yeah. Everyone cheers.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kuro's like just nonchalantly doing it. It's like
let me ask real quick. Sure. You're the sponsor of this event, so who's bankrolling the house, Lachlan?
In theory, probably him, right?
So but you're like, losing money to yourself.
Yeah, man. People who own casinos go and play at their own casino all the time. It'd be like it'd be like if you're hosting. I mean, yeah, he's hosting an event, right? Like,
just want to make sure I understand how it's working for the folks at home.
There's event funds, and then there's personal funds. You know, you split and divide. You know, you compartmentalize.
And like, look, like he understands it doesn't matter, but he's playing host. He's getting people playing the games, and it's like
now these are a bunch of rich people. Are all the proceeds going to some charity, or you?
Yeah, for sure. He's not just like fleecing his friend. It's like it goes to some
I was just
some like Kerensky Memorial Fund or something.
Yeah, that sounds
like
great.
That.
Listen, again, just for the folks at home, charity is how rich people fleece taxes because you go to your friend's charity and their personal corporations are the ones providing the food and the service.
Definitely that.
And
it's definitely that.
So they have to be paid. So your friend's money goes to your corporations, and it's all tax free. And then you go to their charity events to pay a little back, and it's just all a circle.
It's definitely one of those situations.
Some insights into the philanthropic billionaire idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When 50% or more of the funds going to the charity are spent on administration costs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those situations for sure.
God damn it, Lachlan! I thought you were better than this. No, anyway.
I mean, we all probably, patting ourselves on the back for doing it, right? It's charity. It's for charity.
So, Kuro,
I'm curious, what's the end goal of the charity beyond tax shelter? Is it to like provide toys for tots?
Here at Lachlan Relief, pointing up to their.
It would be like some like, oh God, what would it be?
It's like Habitat for Humanity, only like space habitat for humanity.
Yeah. It's definitely
here at Lachlan Spaceports, we know a thing or two about lifting people up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's really something like to like it's supposed to like help out like the miners from the asteroid mines, you know, who are like
it's like a pension relief fund or something like that.
Something like that.
Welcome to our charity brainstorming session.
You pay for the exactly. It's like the what's it called, the Aaron Brockovich shit, like the mesothelioma, you know, like some like weird asteroid, you know, grit disorder you get from being a miner that ruins you.
The brown lung.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and that between that and 0G disorder shit, it's like,
the space lung.
Space lung. Obviously, like there's got to be something wrong about like being in space for like your whole life, especially mining and doing shit.
I would start with the radiation problems and end with the radiation problems.
Well, I mean, hopefully we have like protective suits at this point. Technology level.
There's no suit that stops radiation. There's not in the way. You need like an Olympic sized swimming pool around you to stop the radiation.
All right, well, so
I've been reading a lot of Traveler. I know what's going on.
Oh yes, we were just talking about Traveler earlier. Anyway, so yeah, Kuro rolls the dice and like very nonchalantly and kind of leans over to Lachlan and says, "Would you be able to get away for a moment? I know we're on a hot streak, but
I think like." Maybe like right after that, like Lachlan rolls and like craps out and he like leaves the table just for the sake of, everyone's it's like, all right, we'll get him next time, everyone keep playing, it's good time. And he goes off with you. He's like, what's going on?
Well, it seems that and I think this is kind of again a hushed tone. Maybe they've gone off to a balcony or something like that. They wandered to one of the I don't know if you have a balcony on your place. I'm sure you do.
It would be like an enclosed balcony, right? Because we're like out, like in space, but
do you have like a parapet with like
I would imagine it's like a viewing deck, right? So like because like I described how it's like the whole concept is like this like asteroid garden thing. So like there'd probably be like a whole like viewing area where you're like up in it.
Cool. Yeah. So somewhere we can be alone. And Kuro, with his glass in hand, takes a sip. Well, I didn't expect the evening to become so exciting so quickly.
I always know how to throw a good party, Kuro. You should know that about me.
Of course. Unfortunately, it was also crashed by a Cretan intelligence ambassador who decided to extend a death threat by the Smiling One.
That's what Cretans do. You get that. I have one against the family and one against me. I mean, that Cretans love their death threats.
Yes. Well, my
it's James Franco in the Ballad of Buster Scrooge's first time.
First time.
Like, wow.
I am no stranger to them as well. However, this directly ties to you, and I've already discussed this with Jasper, as this is definitely retaliation against what we were a part of.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, so is the people who tried to kill us before. Remember that? That was like 3 days ago.
Yes, I know. Indeed, this that is also the day that my aunt perished.
Oh yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, but anyway.
However, this is also a family matter, as the ghost hands are a part of my extended family. That said, I believe it is important that we discuss this as well as other matters with Lady Lafayette. Would now be a good time?
Of course. I've never had much of a rapport with her myself, so I'll leave you to do the talking, but if you need me there, I'll be there.
Well, remember, we discussed that you were going to propose the specific oh man, I'm blanking. Is it bill? No. What proposal? Thank you. I was just like blanking on the word. You were originally to propose the proposal. However, after some thought, it may be best that we inquire that Lady Lafayette ask. And so I figured if we work on it together and convincing her that it is in our best interest, then maybe we can succeed. I have been building a rapport with her in an effort to build a bridge.
Like I said, Carl, I'm happy to help. I worry I may be more harm than help when it comes to dealing with Lafayette, but we'll find out rather shortly, it seems. After you.
Very well. So where do we find Lady Lafayette?
She's pretty much attached at the hip with Yohei Genji. The two of them are using this opportunity to not speak with other noblemen, but to speak with local station managers and other employees aboard the Ivory Tower space station that this is being held on. I didn't know it was on the space station, but now that I know it's there, they're spending their time how should I say this? Expanding their contacts list.
I don't know how else it would be in space if it wasn't like some kind of space station. So
I didn't know the party was in space. Period.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean,
I must not have done a good job of describing it then.
Yeah, Lachlan.
No,
God.
A long time ago, we mentioned that Lachlan has an ancestral estate on the land, but you mostly spend all your time in your gigantic, beautiful space station.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I mean, it wouldn't be
for some reason I thought it was on the land.
Me too.
Yeah,
I thought it was
so
there too.
the ISF agent gets in a rocket shuttle and heads back to the Earth, not a car, because it would be absurd to take a car through space, Elon Musk.
I hadn't thought.
Thank you for mentioning that, because
it can just be on the ground. It could just be on the ground. But anyway, his estate is built into the spaceport. Anyway, that's kind of what we talked about.
It's a little space in place. It's half and half.
Wow.
Sure.
You have to have. No, real quick. Like lore wise, I imagine there's some sort of formal part that has to happen at your ancestral place, but then everybody like will move off to like the reception part of the party that goes in space.
The thing was, like, one of the things we talked about initially was that the ground portion of the spaceport is like kind of like his estate is like built up against it because they are insecure about the fact that they're the ones who are in charge of
so when it crashes down, it blows up both. Yes.
Yeah. So question for you, it's a space elevator, right? So we don't have to like spaceship.
No, there's no space elevator.
No, I was making a joke.
That technology doesn't exist in the Battletech universe, I think.
Well, it should.
So unfortunate. I know, it's so unfortunate.
I mean, space elevators are really tough to pull off.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, we're talking to Lafayette.
Yeah. Jump ships aren't. Okay. Or bipedal fusion powered mechs. Yeah, okay.
Well, bipedal fusion powered mechs are fairly likely. Look at some of that Boston Dynamics shit we got going on.
Okay. We just need GM to build an easily replaceable fusion engine.
And we just gotta wait for like 2300 and we'll all know.
Yeah. All you have to do is live 100 years, and then you'll know whether you were right or wrong.
Easy.
Well, we're probably gonna get anagathics in our lifetime, so makes sense. Good to go.
What is that? I don't know that.
Age extending stuff.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, we'll see if that's available to the public.
I'm confident I can live to 200 just on my own.
Well, we're not going to be rich enough to afford it, but.
Oh man! All right, yeah, just go live in a blue zone, man. You'll live forever.
We're so off point.
I know.
All right, so Lafayette and Genji Yohei are both I wouldn't say subverting. They're not smoozing because they're so far out of these people's stratosphere that they aren't even close in social rank. But they are attempting to learn more about station operations and become familiar with space station personnel.
Sure.
I think Kuro after that, like, has already finished his initial drink, and gets a tumbler of something. We'll say 30-year-old scotch.
Nice.
That's his thing. And walks up to Lafayette and Genji and looks at Genji, bows with respect, and asks, would it be...
Genji holds a hand up and says, gentlemen, ladies, I apologize. It would appear that I have business with a colleague. And then, like, formally dismisses everyone. I mean, you describe them as in the middle of talking to people, and you're like, all right, I'll walk up.
Well,
I start talking immediately. All right, so
I was thinking about peeling away Lafayette, the two
of them look mildly annoyed. Like, you just walked up and started some baronial shit.
Well, that wasn't my intention. I would know protocol to some extent, so.
Do you have the protocol skill?
I do have at least 1 point in it. I'm
all
a
right,
noble.
yeah, I mean, waiting a pleasant distance away to be formally recognized so that you don't just interrupt his conversation would be the...
Okay.
All right, so we go through that process, and he dismisses everybody after he's done talking to them. And then he recognizes you to come forth, and he, instead of looking angry, now he looks mildly interested.
Got it. Thank you.
So he's wearing a Federated Sons military issue jumpsuit. Basically, he's wearing something that you'd wear on a dropship before a mech drop. So he could even potentially be wearing Mechwarrior shorts and a cooling vest underneath it if he's ready to roll.
Wow. Rip. Let's go.
Audrey is wearing her actual, like, aerospace fighter pilot outfit. She's got the helmet on, like, a little tether, so it's 0G follows behind her.
I hope the conversation was pleasant. I wish to speak to you both. There is a matter of some urgency that was just brought to my attention.
Was it a formal declaration of war?
Perhaps between families. You see...
So he looks somewhat less interested now. As if, the Draconis Combine's about to start attacking. Now it's just, they're just coming after you personally. Okay.
You see, the Ghost Hands have issued... And was the scroll left with me?
Yes.
Okay. Have issued me a death threat. And that is part of why I'm here.
I mean, he just says, I don't know why you're freaking out. That I've had several against me. Audrey's just like, yeah, I haven't even been a Baron that long, and I've got at least one.
Yes, I suppose that would be fair. This is a bit more, I suppose, because it is an extension of my family. The Smiling One themselves sent them after me.
Yeah, I really feel like you're overreacting. This is... Oh, wait, did you say the Smiling One?
Yes.
So Genji and Audrey look at each other, and then...
Context, like, is that a big deal that the Smiling One
it'd be like if someone was like, Joseph Stalin wished for you to have good health and a long life in the gulag.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
It's a person who
He's a well-known murderer.
Yeah, he's the head of military intelligence of one of the most oppressive fascist regimes in history.
Got it. Got it. Okay, good to know.
So,
I mean, and
Yohei Genji turns towards you, puts two hands, one on each shoulder, looks you directly in the eye, and says, "I hope that you have many children very soon. Someone must carry on your line."
I appreciate the vote of confidence.
We will do what we can to protect you.
I appreciate that. And I look directly to Lady Lafayette.
He gives you a shoulder squeeze and then lets you go.
Yeah. I suppose it is something that both of you could hear. However, it is specifically for Lady Lafayette. Genji, I know that you two, or Lord Genji, I know that you both often work together. And I look to Lachlan because I think this is kind of where the introversion and like Kuro gets a little bit anxious.
I think at this point, Lachlan has been kind of like standing a little bit behind Kuro, like to like kind of like emphasize that this is Kuro's thing, and has like had a slightly bemused expression on his face throughout this whole like assassination talk. And then at this point, he breaks out into like a full-on smile and just goes, "Kuro here is decided to start playing some politics before the Senate session and was hoping you would be willing to play along. He has a proposal for you."
Yes. You see, I've been working with Bassett to...
Yeah, so when that happens, Yohei is just like, "Have you now? Like, I don't believe you." That is not what I've heard.
Yes, well, I've also been busy. There have been concerns and things that I want to make sure that we have the proper etiquette for. What I'm trying to say is there is a committee that has been unfilled for some time, and I wish to propose that we reinstate someone as a leader of it.
What was the role called? Like ethics liaison? Yeah. Senate ethics liaison?
It's the Senate Ethics Commission. It's like a panel of three.
Yeah, Senate Ethics Commission.
So Yohei catches up on that, and he says, "The role remains unfilled because such a position places one above their fellows. You would need the agreement of the Senate to pursue the Senate. Without a countess or a count to appoint people to that position, it's difficult to agree to have anyone place themselves above the others."
Wouldn't you agree, though, that a certain level of oversight could benefit us?
Are we not our own oversight? Do we not all watch each other?
Yes and no. I believe that there are some that are able to circumvent the watch, as it were.
So Yohei and Audrey exchange a glance.
Look, the only way this is going to work is if each faction involved thinks that they have something to gain. The commission has 3 seats. I would suggest that as long as somebody is willing to put this forward, we could create a situation where 1 seat is filled by your anti-Kharidan faction, 1 is filled by the pro-peace faction, and 1 is filled by our friend Kuro here, which I would stand to say is one of the few people on this planet which both of these factions think that they can get along with and work with.
I mean, he turns to you, Kuro, slowly rotating in space, and says, "I was under the impression that you were a member of our faction."
Yes, I am. attempting to be a bridge, as it were.
There is no bridging war with the Caretans. They will come, and we need to be prepared.
I agree with you.
You are either in or you are out. Are you in?
I believe that...
What troubles you so?
I believe that war is inevitable.
You are the scion of warriors. Why do you hesitate?
There has been a long history with my family where we distance ourselves from our emotions and be that perfect warrior as you describe.
And yet you hesitate now to engage in conflict.
Because I've seen the beauty of peace.
What peace? We have had 3 years of raiding.
I understand that war and raids are a way of life in our current political atmosphere. And that is why I side with you as well as the peace faction.
Were you seeking peace when you attacked Valentina with us?
I was seeking answers.
He gives you a stare and he says, my understanding is that your relationship with the pro-peace faction is strained at best and brittle at worst.
That is not wholly untrue. That said,
you are not much of a bridge if you can't settle on which side you wish to
Lachlan
choose.
Is literally like this right now.
I mean, Yohei is just like, this proposal sounds interesting, and I cannot say that I won't co-opt it for the better prosperity, he says, nodding towards Lachlan, whose, I guess, favorite keyword lately has been prosperity. For the better prosperity of Whittington. But if there is someone to sit on this ethics council, it will not be you, Kurospaku. You are divided without leaders. You cannot pick a side, and you have no idea where you are going.
Isn't the whole point of this commission, however, to not have a side? To instead be a bridge?
You are undecided. Why would I place such a man on an ethics committee who is rudderless?
I am a man of both worlds. I am not simply undecided.
You are a man of no worlds. You are a friend to no one if you remain like this.
Who would you have, Genji, that you could also convince the rest of the council to put forward?
He says, whatever plans I have, I will inform you of them. This idea is new to me. Obviously, you just proposed it. But I would stress that under no circumstances would Kurospaku serve on such a council. Nor would I put forward yourself, Lord McDougal.
I have no interest in such a position.
I suspected as much.
Part of what this commission would do, however, is investigate and understand the goings-ons of
you
what
are attempting
happened.
To create a leash for Sebastian Bassett. Let us not mince words here. There is no other reason to create an ethics committee. What other purpose would it serve?
To ensure that future work that we do has appropriate oversight.
Were your parents without appropriate oversight? Do you think that my family was without appropriate oversight? We watch each other. Do not try to use me to attack your enemies, because you are too cowardly to face them in the field. If you have a problem with Sebastian Bassett, it would be better if you attacked him yourself. Until you have a strong foundation, do not come back to the war faction seeking aid and assistance. He turns and he floats away, but Audrey stays there and just kind of gives you a shallow nod and says, I will speak with him.
Thank you. I'm working on how to talk to him. It's been a difficult time.
She floats away.
Yeah, I think before we end the scene, there's like a moment where Lachlan just looks at Kuro and is like, where do you want to go with this? I initially was willing to play along, but the two of us, it's not going to work.
I'm not sure myself. It seems that my argument is not strong enough to convince Genji, who is the hardest to convince, I would say.
Here's where I'm at, Kuro. Seems like Genji is wanting to table this as much as I was initially. If we can get them on board, we can pursue this. I'm happy to put it forward whether or not we have them on board, if that's the path that you want to take. But I do worry that if we move too early on this, you're going to lose your chance to get it done at all.
Is a fair point.
Think it over and let me know. He just pats you on the shoulder and heads off. And, yay, good to see you.
I think you see Kuro just like as Lachlan walks away, like take a sip of his beverage, which he had not touched the entire conversation, even though he just picked it up, and just kind of stand there for a moment, looking around for like pausing for a moment, like kind of looking a little bit defeated, finding his composure again, and then goes and looks for someone to talk to. No one in particular.
Okay.
Unless we want to, and if Jasper's got something, we should probably jump to Jasper, but
No, I'm good.
I still want the two things that I wanted to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, the only thing I maybe would like to establish is that I've been talking to people and just kind of smoothing over my bad name.
Are you gonna buy that off this session?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that something happens at the event then.
Okay.
Probably just like some sort of formal recognition by the rest of the nobility, like that no one's really holding it against you. Maybe it's James Jives is speaking with you. Yeah, so James floats over to you and he's just like speaking loudly with you, just a little too loudly so that people nearby can hear, and he's mentioning, all of the great public works you've been doing lately, and people of importance come nearby to all. It's like some Godfather shit. People of importance fly over to you and are just like, yes. Could it be like our problems between us are finished?
Could it be a situation where it would make sense for me to bring up the Akadis and stuff like that, and how like people are by nature good, they just need a little bit of help?
Oh, are you giving like a little speech in the ballroom
yeah
floor?
Well, remember, like the only thing I'm really known for lately was like my citizenship thing.
Yeah.
Right. And like how good they have been as citizens and that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And how they Oh, hey, come on. I know, but that's what makes the dramatic irony that much better, is that they don't know. Right. But like right now, everything's great. And, I'm like, see, everyone, I get to just kind of reiterate that, everyone by nature is good. They just need a good noble to lead them and give them that little guidance.
Oh, somebody catches that as a soundbite.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, all I do is just like kind of reframe noblesse oblige, right? Like the idea that we are responsible for people who are too poor and too dumb to take care of themselves, which is extremely patronizing as it sounds.
The Ronald Swan of space.
That is what nobility is. That is what it means to be a noble, is that you are, because you are better than other people, you have an obligation to take care of these people who are by definition worse than you.
So James Jives, for the first time in his reporting career, reports on himself having a conversation with you. And it's like listen, he looks terrible in the zoom in on this, right? Like his clothes, he's still wearing like a suit, but he's in space, so it's all floating all over the place, right? Everybody else is wearing jumpsuits.
Talking about that in group chat, AP. We're talking about that in group chat, how like, you know, if you're doing stuff in low G, like you can't wear a tie unless
his tie with the audio clip is floating away from him, so his audio is terrible.
So everyone wears a bow tie.
You can see that he's looking at the clip of himself, and he's just like, I apologize for the quality of this, but I wanted to share some thoughts I had recently about a conversation with Jasper Hiroka, and that's going to be the news report. Is like Jasper Hiroka, a memorial.
It's oh man, I don't know how video looks, but I imagine it's done by like portrait mode phone. Yeah. like it goes to the square like
got a GoPro.
I just realized that the low G and the casino games thing does not work at all. Everything's just floating.
No, dude, there's low G versions of it, right?
Yeah, so the chips have a little bit of magnets in them.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
The craps table is more like it's more like a bowl that you throw down into, and then the dice.
No, it's a 3-dimensional space, right? Where then like there's a magnet that pulls everything down at like a certain point.
You do not want to have magnetized dice.
Anyway, sorry, I totally interrupted, but it made me laugh.
Yeah. So, anyways, I give that little speech thing, just kind of reiterating my beliefs on people and
without saying that you believe that they're ignorant savages. You're just here to raise them up.
Yeah, of course. Like every single
take these broken wings and learn to fly again. Learn to live so free.
Right. Like extremely 19th century British thought, you know, and how terrible it is. Like very much.
I just want to add that until Black Panther, where they where like, where do you think they got all this stuff in the museums from? I'd never really considered that, and now I'm just like, oh, I can't go to museums anymore. Like, now all I see is things that people stole. Well, art museums are still fun.
But pretty much every the British history museum's a real bad one.
Yeah. Got a lot of cool stuff though.
Yeah. That's what happens when you fucking conquer the world.
Paid a good price for it.
Yeah. That's price of colonialism. Anyway.
Is there anything else you all want to do here? I know that Lachlan McDougall had some plan to speak to all of the nobles at once.
I had 2 things I wanted to do.
Yeah, I wish my wife was here. It sucks. It's like the first time I'd be at a party and not have her. It sucks.
Is she not here?
No, but she'll be back for the Senate section.
Yeah, she went back, remember?
Yeah, she'll be back for Christmas and the Senate.
So I'll see her around Christmas.
Yeah. So Lachlan wanted to talk to what's his name, Jacobson, and also wanted to do like the big let's talk to the whole Senate at once scene.
All right. Well, you tell me how you want to manage this.
Which one do you want to do first?
Which one do you want to do first?
Well, let's do Jacobson first, because that'll either be really quick or like get it very extended out.
So Sir Maximilian Jacobson is probably the only person at this party that looks more at ease in space than you and your staff.
Sure.
All right, we need to turn all the cameras off except for Eddie's, and then it's Eddie, Eric, Sam.
I meant to mute myself and instead turned off my camera.
I've done that before. It happens to the best of us.
So Jacobson is taking to it like a otter in water. He's just flitting from conversation to conversation. Somehow he always knows just how to cancel out his acceleration enough that he's floating in 0G, near enough to an object he can push himself off of. You can see he's like helping people that get floundering and stuck very covertly. Like he'll go sail next to them and then accidentally bump into them so that they float back towards a wall, and he like a pool ball also floats toward a wall, and as he's leaving he goes, "Oh, my apologies," or something like that, saving guests from their own ineptitude.
Sure. Yeah. When Lachlan will get close to him, it'll be like, Maximilian Jacobson, I was absolutely hoping to run into you this evening. How are you doing?
He gives you enough of a bow that he doesn't get stuck in a continual loop. He says, Baron McDougall, what a fine estate you have.
I very much appreciate you saying so. I'm sure that it cannot compare to your own, but
yes,
we do what we can here on Whittington. I wanted to talk to you about a recent venture you've been involved in.
The spaceport project, I assume.
Yes.
Yes, my people are constructing spaceports at most of our heavy freight and delivery locations to lessen the burden on your personal spaceport.
Let's cut out the smooth talk, Jacobson. We both know you're trying to cut me out.
What we pump into the economy to create these spaceports more than makes up for what we will not pay in spaceport taxes.
Trust me, Jacobson, I understand the benefits of bringing trade to the economy more than most. I understand the desire for prosperity. However, the McDougal family would not be where it is if we so easily turned over when folks wanted to circumvent our ability to staff the stations.
I see.
May
I ask what your plan is in regards to the public viewing of attempting to close down my very well-regarded spaceport project in order to ensure that you still get the taxes of us having to land and drive heavy freight vehicles through the capital?
I am shocked that you would accuse me of trying to shut it down, Maximilian. I'm simply trying to find a way that we can work together here. We can make sure that you do not avoid the customs and laws of our good planet of Whittington, and we can make sure that we can bring this prosperity to the people.
We would have proper security staff at these sites when they were in use. Unlike this very busy spaceport that you run beneath our feet, our heavy freight sites would only be used several times a week in order to move goods on and off. But it would allow us a sort of privacy that we could move proprietary technology and information. And more importantly, we would not need to tear up local roads and traffic.
I can make sure to provide you the privacy that you need. I simply need to make sure that we have an exclusive contract in place to make sure that it is the McDougal expertise to make sure that nothing problematic is coming onto or off of our planet. I hope you understand. I do want to make this amiable. I think that it could be quite an excellent proposition for both of us.
What kind of costs will this amiableness run into my business?
So this is where it's like pretty impossible for me, the player, to give them numbers. But like, I basically like what Lachlan is wanting to get at here is he's basically just like wanting. He's like, you got to cut me in to these new spaceports. So he basically wants some sort of like partnership type contract.
Sure.
So I mean, I'm wondering if we could like maybe make a roll, and depending on how.
No, he's got a counter offer for you first.
Sure.
So he says your people being involved as custom officials as part of our opening teams that will be going to the spaceports when they are needed rather than on a 24/7 basis is a given, of course. Partnership with you is somewhat less attractive. Our people are already well compensated and have begun the process of creating these spaceports. I have paid a considerable sum of money to the House of Latour for this particular honor. This space station, the Ivory Tower, is undergoing Phase 7 renovations for many years. It started before your father's time, I understand. Without additional housing and asteroid mining capability, rocket burn shuttles, fusion engines, a mass driver, you can't expand your asteroid mining business, and the number of incoming and outgoing targets you can track is quite limited. While you don't seem to have had any interest in completing the Phase 7 renovations, like your parents and their parents before them, I would propose that Completing them would provide you with considerable public goodwill, but more importantly, expand your own asteroid mining business. And a sort of charitable foundation or grant to help expand this location would also work in my favor. I could be convinced to begin funding immediately, rather than cut you in on the spaceports deal.
Would Lachlan be able to evaluate, like, it sounds like this is better for him, really. Like,
so in some ways it is and it isn't. So the problem is that the Phase 7 renovations have been a dream of your family's. Your dad essentially threw money down a black hole of nothingness and nothing ever came of it. Like, building new stuff in space is incredibly difficult and it's very corrupt up here.
Sure.
The other problem is, of course, is that things explode all the time because it's hundreds of year old technology being maintained by monkeys, essentially.
Yeah,
it's like building the Panama Canal again.
Yes, it's like building a second Panama Canal parallel to the first one, but if you mess up the second one, the first one also explodes.
Yeah, sure.
So far they've managed to keep the space station from exploding, but on the other hand, it's losing functionality rather than gaining it, right? You're in a time of declining technology. So he's essentially offering to use his, from your point of view, unlimited finances to expand the space station, build some new docks, some new ports. It would expand your ability to track dropships going on and off planet or into and out of system. It would also allow more asteroid miners to have a place to stay, to base out of, something to hold ore in before it gets processed somewhere.
Yeah, okay. So basically the trade is like, you're not going to control every airport, but we're going to like help you build a massive hub.
Yes. So he is offering you accept privatization of the airport business if he gets to build JFK for you.
Right.
Or on the other hand, you could just be like, well, no, all of your airports are under our control. Which is the thing you could do. It would be a little corrupt and bullying, but it's your purview. This is the thing that your house is in charge of.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide.
Now you can alter these deals by making a roll from here.
Yeah,
he's giving you his idea of what he wants to have happen.
That's what I'm trying to decide is like how Lachlan would try to alter this. So I guess the question, so it's like, there's this, is there anything beyond the Phase 7 that we would need to do in order to like make Whittington like a true like first class spaceport? Or is that what the Phase 7 renovation does?
So this isn't altering the actual spaceport on the planet in any way. It's altering the space station above it to handle bigger throughput. I don't know that Whittington can ever truly have a Class 1 spaceport that you're thinking about, because the ones that are on like Terra and other places, like I think maybe Galatea has one, has like massive, it'll take a dropship and like load it into the Earth, into a protected area kind of thing. But if you mean Class 1 by like tons of people can arrive and it can handle a lot of business, then this would be the first step towards that. You then need to expand your ground operations.
Yeah, so can I get that? That would be then what Lachlan would push for, would be that Jacobson comes in, helps finish the Phase 7, and then also commits to a like major expansion of the ground spaceport so that we can start working towards becoming like a, you know, Whittington can basically, it's all part going into, because Lachlan's like grand vision is turning Whittington into like not a backwater anymore,
right?
And he sees the first that is like, this is going towards that.
Jacobson counter offers you. Okay. If he is going to fund the ground, some or all of the ground part, he wants exclusive Whittington contracts to trade with the Outworlds Alliance. He wants to start.
Lachlan even guarantee that?
No, but you could put legislation forward to do that.
In what way? I'm curious because I know that I have a contract with.
Correct, but your contract is through him.
Right.
He wants to expand. He wants to expand mercantilism.
Can we make the roll, and that determines whether or not Lachlan has to do this?
Very well. Please do.
Cool. What am I rolling? Probably negotiation.
Negotiation.
Would be the only thing I can think of. I don't know that I have that. I, in fact, do not have that.
So it's going to be pretty tough because you need a 15. He's a master negotiator.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
He's amenable towards you, which is why the DC is so low.
Yeah, but no, I get it because like he's literally the guy, right?
Yes. Like, this is what he does for a living.
Right. Yeah, so I don't have negotiation. I have +3 charisma, so I need to hit a 12. Good stuff. Alrighty. That is going to be an 8. That is not going to do it.
You want to use an edge?
I mean, I'm at an 11. I would need to reroll both and hit a 12, a 6 on both, so I think I'm going to hold off.
Okay. It's clear that he's not going to move on this point. He needs a substantial something he can take back to his board of directors.
So what if Lachlan will say, it's nearly impossible for me to make that full commitment on behalf of the entire Senate here and now. What I can promise is this. I have already committed to a certain proposal that I will be bringing forward to the Senate floor this year. In 1 year from now, I will put forward through the Senate, I will spend the entire next year galvanizing the Senate to work towards your exclusive contract and make it happen in Senate session of 3028.
We will begin expanding Ivory Tower now, and we will hold off on the spaceport expansion until such a time that we gain the exclusive contract.
Deal.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, Lachlan's back in the corner, right? Yeah. Like he has no choice. That's what
he's in the same position. He's also locked in a corner. If you could just completely block him out if you wanted to.
But the thing is like if the time comes and like that's Lachlan, this is really shady. But like Lachlan's like in the back of his mind, like I always could is like, well, like if it gets to 3028 and I can't get anyone on board with this Senate, then I can always introduce legislation to block his shit then.
Yeah, exactly. And he knows that that's a risk.
Right. So yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I think that is where that finishes.
Right. Well, you just altered the future of Whittington in a single conversation over drinks.
Hell yeah. That's what being a noble's all about.
A dream.
So yeah, the other thing I wanted to do was the full Senate meeting, but I feel like I've been dominating this session with Lachlan, so I feel a little bad.
No, not at all, man.
Well,
I mean, portion of it was Kuro,
the other two are going to be there as well.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
All right. Can we assume it's some sort of back room deal? Like everybody coincidentally floats in around the same time, having been informed by their staff?
I imagine as part of like the normal Karinsky Ball invitation, like members of the Senate were like, you know, like Lachlan McDougall would like to invite you for a special like whatever tasting, you know, like exclusive to the members of, you know, that kind of bullshit.
Please join the chef's table for a moment for exclusive mid party like
aperitif.
Yeah, aperitif. Yeah, and like it's in the viewing deck, right? So like,
exactly.
There's a big viewing deck with like totally.
So like once everyone is there, does anyone not show up? Would be my first question.
No, but they do form into cliques pretty quickly. Sebastian floats on his own, looking out over the expanse of space as if he owns the space station and also all of space. Xenia and
is he still dressed like he's pretending to be Lachlan?
Yeah.
No, he's reforged his old style in a more serious. So he's wearing like a mustard colored jumpsuit, and he's got the frosted tips hair, the tan, not as deep a tan as before, not a fake tan. It's a real genuine tan.
Wow.
And he's got his lightning bolt earrings back in again.
Nice.
He's gotten rid of the beard, and it's just down to a Mirror World goatee.
There was a character in like an anime that man, that's like so many animes just like flew through my head. Anyway, anyone else missing?
No one is missing. So Bastion's there. Xenia, Jana, and Angelique are all in a group together. From time to time, Jana is looking at Sebastian Bassett as if she wishes that the panel of glass near him would explode and suck him out into space.
That would solve a lot of problems for everyone in the room.
Audrey and Yohei are together as well as the three of you float in.
Yeah, I think. Well,
not present is Countess Harmony Lake or her minder, Sir Lake Rheingold.
I think like maybe like when they first come in and everyone's like milling about before like Lachlan calls
everyone's sword attention.
Here? Yeah, the sword's probably in the room for sure.
I love that idea that it's stuck floating in zero gravity.
Yeah, exactly. Like slow spin.
I imagine that you have like some sort of magnetic gravitational like rotation going on it. So it's like it's actually like in a casing that's on display.
Yeah, it's like light shooting down. Yeah,
right. Accent exactly. Lighting, almond colored.
It's spinning in a perfect axis.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, and like, but before he like calls everyone's attention and that he, you know, like that he wants to say something, there's this moment where he floats over to Xenia and has like one of those like way over the top like two caring husband moments with like his wife that just has are you okay, how are you feeling, are the kids okay?
She's just like, I left the kids back on the planet, it's not safe for children to go into zero gravity.
Yes, excellent, awesome, excellent.
Well, listen, we'll be back with them tonight, don't worry.
Yeah, and then so he goes
she
back
exclaims to her friends, she's just like, he's such a busybody, he's always with the kids nowadays. You'd think that he'd been pregnant with them for 9 months.
And then he'll like kind of, you know, get everyone's attention, you know, click a glass or do something, and he'll say, my fellow barons, I very much appreciate you not only coming to my soiree this evening, but taking a few moments to come to this special invitation. I wanted to speak to all of you in order to get on the same page, as the last few senatorial sessions have been a tad more chaotic than they have been in the past. In order to try to put my cards on the table, I am going to present to you my proposal that I will be putting forward on the Senate floor. And I would invite any one of you who has a proposal that they are going to be trying to galvanize support for either before or during the senatorial session to come forward now, so that we may all think on these grave matters and be prepared before going in to the Senate this December. As such, I will go first. I plan to propose a broad and sweeping jobs program. I've talked to most all of you at various times about my desire to bring prosperity to Whittington now, before the inevitable conflict rises once again. I believe that we must build up our own infrastructure and national defenses such that we are prepared when this conflict comes, when the strike comes against us, and so that we can grow to have a foundation that is unshakable through the wars that are inevitable eventually.
So, Angelique Latour, who we've barely heard from and no one ever pays attention to, in universe anyway, she's looking pretty haggard. She says, and how will we pay for this jobs program and national defense spending?
So I think like, this is the part again where like I haven't figured out like a funding program for this, but what I'm imagining is basically Lachlan would be like it would be he would have a combination of like some sort of bond program, then like some sort of program for taking out national loans, and like various increases of spending It's mostly spending increases and not appropriating funds from various places. Right? Like his proposal essentially is like we're going to blow up spending right now to grow the economy as fast as we can.
And I think there's like a nod from Kuro. It's like an investment in the future.
Exactly.
So, Angelique shakes her head and says, "This is ridiculous. This kind of reckless, uncaring spending. How do you have how does your political faction have an economics major as a member of it, and you bring this before us? I would propose that we alter your deal and begin taxing heavy industrial construction like the spaceports going up across the planet in order to pay for fixing the roads that will be torn up during the process of this. And the overrides, the proceeds, the extra will go towards your somewhat ridiculous jobs program. Certainly, I can't argue with bonds, but taking out loans? The people who will be responsible for these loans are a child.
People who will be responsible for these loans are all of us. That's what governance is about, Baron Latour.
We are taking out loans in the name of a countess who isn't old enough to understand what money is.
I am all about fiscal responsibility. I am not against the concept of balanced budgets, but I am not one who doesn't take advantage of the time to grow. This is not the time to be reducing spending. If others are on board with some sort of extra taxation to help fund this program, I could be convinced that that is the correct path. But the idea that we shouldn't be spending, we shouldn't be using this opportunity to leverage Whittington out and grow is a horrible mistake. And as you point out, I am an economics major, and I can point out that this strategy has worked in the past.
It has also failed in the past.
As has every strategy that every economist has ever put forward. Trying to keep a balanced budget has failed in the past. Trying to take in a tax surplus has failed in the past. Every option that we could possibly go for when it comes to economic opportunity has the possibility of failing. But that's why I'm trying to bring us all together so that we can succeed.
I feel like it's time for a roll-off. One of the rare few ones.
Awesome.
So she has low charisma and low negotiation skill. So she only has a +3 total.
I would like to use leadership instead of negotiation here, if possible, because I'm trying to galvanize the Senate.
I'll buy that. She ends up with a 13.
Ooh.
That's pretty fucking good.
Not the best, but she rolled really good.
I'm rolling with a...
You should roll with D20s.
I should have a +4 because I have 3 charisma and a 1 rating.
Well, you only need to hit a 10 then. It's not a 10.
That
like
is
a 10, my dude.
6. I will reroll the 1 with an edge point.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say, can we use a plot point to have her reroll?
No. Almost, but no.
Oh,
so
man.
an 8 + 4 is a 12.
Yeah, she's still got a 13.
I thought we could have her reroll.
She said weakonomics.
I can't spend.
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure plot
twice.
points to reroll is only during combat, but let's take a look.
Yeah, that was my understanding. I thought that I could only spend 1 edge and reroll my dice out of combat.
You can only reroll once.
Yeah, if I could have her reroll that.
It is a contested roll, so it's combat. Yeah, so many disparate pools.
I'm fine eating the loss here. Lachlan has hit a lot of lucky rolls on things he really needed to win, so his ascent to power has mostly been smooth so far, with always just massively hitting rolls when he needs them.
Yeah.
There is plot points and personal. Can't believe this is so difficult to find.
It's Mechwarrior Destiny.
Listen, I knew where it was in the old book, but then they changed the formatting of the official release, and now I can't find it. It's not on page 34 anymore. And the word plot point appears like 600 times, so...
Yeah.
Okay. Player plot points can be used to change the normal turn order, move twice, first aid, take a hit, immediately attack, but no dice rerolling.
Yep.
That's for actual combat.
Alrighty, that's I lose by 1. No worries.
So it's not that you're out negotiated, it's that you're unleadershiped, right? The room simply does not accept that you should be at the head of this proposal. They don't side on either side. People are deeply conflicted, and Sebastian Bassett kind of floats to the middle of the room. Coincidentally, he stops right next to the case. Like he uses the case to of the sword to hold himself there, and with all the accent lighting, it's like he's become the centerpiece of the room next to the sword. Perhaps it's a subtle play in the minds of the people around to note his ascension to power. And he says, Lachlan, it's clear to me that you're losing the room here, and what I have to say is this proposal cannot be solved today, here and now. I think we can all agree on that. Just you can't ambush us with this, but with time and with riders and provisions, I'm sure we can all be satisfied with amendments to it. He looks around the room and people are like,
as I said from the very beginning, Bassett, I was not trying to ambush anyone. If I was attempting to ambush you, I would make the proposal in a month at our Senate meeting and not bother with what we've just done today.
Lachlan,
I'm putting my cards on the table.
Lachlan, my friend, I didn't mean to sound accusatory. We're all friends here, especially you and I. Such good friends. What I'm trying to help you out here, all right? I'm sure we can all come up with proposals to add to this job spending bill and balance out the budget. It needs to be a group effort, obviously.
I, for one, am for having a training program to help those that don't have the skills necessary to help us build a proper infrastructure.
Well, the training program.
Exactly.
The entire point of this exercise was to do this as a group. I want to be on the same page. As you've pointed out, Bassett, this is a perfect opportunity to do so.
So Bassett
My door is open from now until we join ourselves in the senatorial chamber. I'm happy to field any options that folks have for me.
Bassett says, now is the perfect time, and I thank you for the opportunity, Barry McDougal, to announce that I will be proposing a bill at the Senate session to end the lake bombing investigation. We believe that the internal security force of the Draconis Combine and certain members of our own government have obstructed the investigation so much that finding the truth will be impossible.
What like Kurt doesn't say that out loud, but like he's player Eddie's thinking about like what he wants to say. Do you have what findings do you have? I would be curious to have the full report.
Whether the report is shared with the barony or not will be under the consideration of the Senate, I'm sure. For now, I am not at liberty to share such private, privileged, and confidential information. I would hate to slander any member of this group who may have hindered our investigation. And as he's saying this, he's looking directly at you, Kuro.
Yeah, sure.
It's basically as close to a public accusation as it can get. He's essentially foisting the blame for not being able to find anything on you and your shenanigans. People in the room are having it's very mixed. Some people are like, yeah, that makes sense. Kuro's kind of been a little useless lately, and other people are like, le shock, Kuro Seppuku has been obstructing. Like, There's a rainbow of emotions from each Baron.
Lachlan will be like, I am very glad that you brought this forward in this moment. I could have no inherent problem with closing the investigation, but I think myself, and I would assume a few others would feel similarly, that some sort of presentation of your findings to the Senate as part of this proposal seems like a wise choice of action. I don't know that I can vote to close an investigation I know nothing about.
The findings of this investigation have exceeded, as you might understand, the investigation itself. There are many individuals whose public and private lives could be harmed by the findings of this in a sort of extra legal way.
The unfortunate truth of a position on the Senate like the one we all hold is that we are the balance on each other.
All right, when you say that, Yohei starts nodding his head, and he's like, "All right, I'm behind this now."
I think I'm looking at Yohei when he says this.
Yep, Yohei and Audrey both immediately jump on your side.
And he's going to say, how can we be a balance? How can we be a ballast to make sure that Whittington stays afloat if we don't know what good work you've done? I want to make sure that I see all of the meticulous investigation you have done, Bassett, because I'm sure at the end of it, we will find that you are the absolute person to take care of these sort of investigations in the future. However would we know your success or failure without seeing the investigation ourselves?
So he says, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not one to close the Office of Special Investigations for now. I believe that the office must be laying fallow for a time before the next series of high crimes is committed. I will prepare a limited investigatory presentation in which I will do my best not to impede the operations of the Senate or defame any of its members who may or may not have obstructed its good works.
So his proposal is that he wants to close the investigation, but leave himself in just like a unilateral, subpoena position.
Yep.
And nobody else on the Senate has anything to say about that.
I mean, I want to be clear here. Like, Jana von Hohenheim has nothing to say, but it's pretty clear she's opposed to anything he does. Yeah. And she appears to be...
people seem to be willing to push back no matter what any of us proposes, and this guy literally proposes just give me unilateral subpoena power, and everyone's like,
then allow me to be clear. Allow me to be clear. If you're going to read the room, it's fairly obvious that there's no way that this is ever going to happen. Like, just outright, even if Jasper and Kuro don't get behind your idea for some reason, you've got Audrey, Genji, Jana, and Angelique, who are all on the like fuck Sebastian Bassett in every single way team. So you've already got a majority of the Senate that like no one's speaking up because they don't want to go against the guy who's currently the head of the secret police. But like when the Senate time comes, he will not remain a member of the secret police. They're going to close that office for sure.
Yeah, I don't think then Lachlan even bothers like saying anything. He maybe just like rolls his eyes at that proposal.
Sebastian seems to believe that he's in good, right? Like he's not reading the room correctly. He thinks he's got the votes. He doesn't have the votes.
Right. I mean, and I think Kuro attempts to like get a glance with Jana and Latour just to, I guess, like understand the their mood towards the, not Latour necessarily, but Jana specifically, the like towards the accusation against Kuro.
Let me be 100% clear. Your wife, you were in a political marriage. She thought she loved you. Then you kind of basically have dumped her at every single regard. The idea that you might have committed some very egregious ethics crimes strikes very deeply with her.
Yeah.
She does not meet your gaze. When he's like, yeah, someone inside, you literally told her that this was a thing you were doing, that you were slowing down his investigation. So when he's like, yeah, there might have been some obstruction, she's like, shit, my husband's gonna go to jail forever.
Well, I mean, I guess that wasn't okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, Lachlan, after everyone's kind of, settling down from this, he's going to go, well, so far, I think this has been very, very helpful. We've got 2 proposals on the table. It seems we've got a lot of talking to do before the Senate session. Anyone else got anything they want to throw out there?
Audrey kind of floats around and says, I was going to propose increased mercenary hiring, specifically aerospace forces. Draw them to the planet. Whether we attack or whether we defend, aerospace is the first and only line of defense. Whether it's to break through a blockade or to form one. Yeah, she sees that look on your face, Jasper. And she says, I've never met a mech pilot smiling when he gets shot out of his mech pod, falling from the sky several thousand meters before he slams into the ground. I could agree to your increased military funding as long as the majority of that national defense budget goes towards hiring mercenary aerospace forces of trustworthy repute.
I will be the first one to admit, Baron Lafayette, that you are a far greater expert in matters of warfare than I am. I would, of course, defer when it came to how we were going to go about that increase in spending and the most appropriate use of funds to folks like yourself and Baron Genji, who have far more experience than I do in those fields.
Okay, so you've got their votes as long as you give them what they want. And Jana says, we could drum up more money if we were to send an official trade delegation to the Draconis Combine planet of Dela Cruz. It is one of the jewels of the border worlds of the Cretans. Whether we go to war or not, Dela Cruz is currently an ample trade partner, only a few jumps away that we have not been utilizing.
An excellent point, Baron von Hohenheim. This is why I wanted to have this conversation altogether. You are all experts in things that I have barely scratched the surface of understanding on. Together, we can make sure that the way these funds are appropriated is in the most efficient way possible.
All right, so Sebastian cuts in back here, and he says, yes, together, as he floats over to you and wraps his arm around your shoulder, we can make Whittington great.
Oh, no. No.
AP.
He's reading The Power of the Room, and he notices
it's
floating back towards you, and he knows that he's got to tie himself to you.
Yeah, well, good.
Listen, it's not making Whittington great again, because Whittington has never been great. We're going to make it great the first time.
For a first time, make Whittington great.
Oh my God. It's the worst slogan.
Right. Is there anything else you all want to propose? Because everyone who had business at the Senate has already proposed it here.
I mean, what I was going to propose.
So your jobs program has now turned in, there's only 2 issues before the Senate this month. The closing of the lake bombing and your jobs program, which is now being amended 4 ways.
To be fair, this is exactly what both me, Sam the player, and Lachlan the character was exactly hoping to get out of this.
Yeah. No, I don't think there is.
Yeah, I'm good.
Jasper?
No, I'm good.
Just before Christmas, your wife comes home, Jasper.
Awesome.
She's doing better. put on a little weight. She's put on a lot of muscle. She finally just went ahead and got her head shaved down to military cut. It's no longer dyed cotton candy pink anymore either. It's back to just regular old blonde. A sort of platinum-ish blonde, really. And she's got a little bit more independence to her. A little less, well, you know, her mom's dead, and she lives away from home now, so.
I mean, yeah, and I love and support her. This is what she wants.
Okay.
I just ask her if she misses, you know, I rub her hair and ask her if she misses it.
No. I do miss all of the nice social media comments, though. It's very different on New Avalon. Around here, I guess I was kind of a big fish in a little pond, and I didn't really understand that. I'm only in the top 100 on New Avalon rather than the top 10.
I put my head next to her head, and
it's so hard being beautiful.
I wouldn't know. And
no, I think she definitely like flicks you on the forehead or something.
Yeah, of course. I know, I'm teasing, but the big thing. So I guess I'm trying to get her to say in like kind of a cute way would be like, now that she's so into it and being an aerospace pilot and being on New Avalon, it's like, does she regret any of it, right?
Are you trying to get her to say that, or are you trying to figure out if she believes that?
I'm trying to ask her that question. I'm not trying to like tell her the answer. I'm like,
she does not regret it at all. So
do you ever wish you'd go back to being just a social media?
She says no. You know, look, it's hard. It's tough. But you know, I was raised to be a lady, and a lady needs to be able to defend the house. And I guess I never really knew what kind of burdens Kuro was holding on to. I thought he was just mostly useless, wiffle-waffling, total loser who's all talk and no bite. But now I could see he's actually,
wow.
You know.
No, I mean, you're still mostly right, as I joke with her.
Now I can see that, you know.
Kuro, okay?
I know, seriously. Like, obstructing justice. Oh my god. Anyway.
You did obstruct justice. Out of all the things that happened, that is the one thing that's definitely true. You absolutely told me you slowed the investigation down.
Well, no, I was like, I felt like I wasn't actually part of the investigation. That was why
you were being excluded intentionally.
Yeah, exactly. So
yes,
I extricated myself from the investigation.
Correct. All of that is true. And from a different point of view, you obstructed the lightning fast pace, the corner cutting, personally directed flow of Sebastian Bassett. So she says, you know, I never really understood the discipline and the organization that Mechwarriors and military officers have to go through. So
yeah,
I found it personally rewarding.
Yeah, I try to relate to her because I also went to a military academy.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And I want to talk to her about you know, like the hazing and the dumb shit.
Listen, her hazing stories are way worse than yours.
Like,
female pilot hazing is incredibly bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Well, I just comfort her in the best way we can, listen to her, and kind of relate as much as I can about how kind of shitty it is. But she's absolutely right about how it changes you. And I'm also going to open up a little bit to her, and I would say something to like, I often think about what I would be, you know, after everything went down with my parents, and if I didn't have the skills and lessons that my own military background gave me. You're right that there's that sense of order and discipline. It means more It means more after you lose something. But it's not, and this is what I want to stress to her, and then but that's not everything. You can't do this alone. You always have to have other people in your life. And that's why I'm so happy I have you in my life.
All right.
Whether
She's
she
looking
feels
at
the
you
same
with
way
really
or
wet
not.
eyes, like she's about to start crying.
Yeah.
Gosh, she's
doing the.
Yeah, no, not that. No,
You know,
what
like
you're doing is
the
not
quivering,
cute.
the quivering part. I know, but like the quivering thing of.
No, she's not on the quivering. She's just kind of. It's more like she's looking at someone who's been deeply hurt.
Well, I know she's not going to say it, right? And that's why I'm saying it to her.
So
that she doesn't have to be alone.
She's gonna say something about your brother.
Yeah.
I heard you've been having a hard time with your new Battlemech. People have been talking about. They've been saying things. I talked to Audrey, and she mentioned that you still had some hang-ups about your brother.
Yeah. What about him?
I don't know anything about him.
Immediately, you can, in my head, you just see the fucking steel door shut.
Yeah,
like,
no.
like, you know what I
she
mean?
puts a hand on your shoulder, and she's like, "Don't shut me out."
Blast doors.
I never met your brother. I don't know anything about him. You are not him. You're you.
Yeah, well, imagine having someone that you always are comparing yourself against.
Well, you don't have to compare yourself to him.
He's always the number one student. I'm trying to relate to her that way.
She says, "You're the number one student in my book." Okay? I don't know anything about your brother, and I'm sure he was a fine man, but he's not who I married. You don't need to compare yourself to him. You just need to be better than who you were yesterday, every day.
I want to show you something.
Okay.
And,
that's me saying okay.
Yeah, I take her by the hand, and I said, "You probably want to put on a winter coat." And we go out, and we go to the mech bay, and I want to reveal the Tamari. I want to reveal the Atlas that's been painted.
All right, she's looking at it. It's
a 100-ton fucking death machine.
Yes, with a grinning skull mask face.
With a grinning skull mask face, mostly black, but with highlights of my house's yellow, but also secondary highlights of like gentle pink in it.
I assume that there's a giant stenciled cursive pink Tamari written somewhere on it.
Yeah, exactly, right, in the military thing.
The letter's like 8 feet tall.
And so
she goes, "You know I can't pilot a Battlemech, right?"
I know, but this is what I'm building. You are the foundation of me and the House Hiroka, and I wanted to represent that with the most badass, most destructive thing ever designed by Kerensky himself.
She looks at you and she goes, "That is so sweet in a really creepy way."
It's I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of like you getting a gift saying this Xbox is the best present I ever bought for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? but also this is very much like this is me saying how much I what she represents to me and represents to like my life. And
look,
like
she understands it, but also on the
okay.
face of it, it's a giant grinning skull Battlemech.
Death machine. I know.
Yeah.
Of course. Well,
she understands that in a deeply flawed way. It's a nice gift.
A lot. I had to pull a lot of strings to get this. But I want you to know that you're so important that I'm naming my family's life on it.
Okay. I just hope that it can protect you.
All right, you're not impressed. Great, cool.
No. First, she turns and goes, no.
Edward. See about selling. She shuts me up. Yeah.
If this is what it takes to protect you, 100 tons of grinning skull death metal, then that's what I want you to take out into the field.
Oh no, I'm not. This isn't for taking out. This is for only defense.
So she's just like, oh, is this going to be your thing? You're going to gather Battlemechs, like really nice convertible cars, and then only show them off on the weekends and put lighting systems on them. And it's an expensive hobby, but you know, I suppose I have to approve of my husband's occasional expenses.
Well, this is my house's might, and to bring it out for every issue, you know, I don't want to swat bugs with this.
She turns to you and she says, really seriously, it's almost twice the weight of your hatchet man. I would feel a lot better if you were strapped into this thing than the hatchet man.
I know. Well, if Kuro's to be believed, and Kuro's wife, I'm gonna have to probably be using it in the next couple years anyways. I'm sure you've been hearing rumors.
Nope. What are you talking about? You think that there's gonna be war?
She lies like a liar.
No, she's not lying. Listen, from her point of view,
lying. Come on.
She's just like, what are you talking about? At school, all they're talking about is the upcoming trade alliance with the Lyrans, the Treaty of Captain. It's going to be an unprecedented era of peace.
Well, here back home here, things are heating up with Draconis. And
that's just border talk, you know.
I'm not sure if you heard yet, by the way, coming back, Kuro's being hunted by the Ghost Hand.
Kuro's always being hunted by the Ghost Hands.
Oh, well, he never told me that before. I kind of gave him a lot of flack for it, to be honest with you.
Oh,
maybe I shouldn't have done it.
Well, he could use someone to help push him in a direction.
I heard that they like to kill pretty much anyone and keep things under wraps. So if you know it's them,
that's true. They are.
I figured you would be in danger.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I'm the only one who's not keeping their cool. Awesome.
I mean,
it seems like a lot to me.
Yeah,
it seems like a lot, like to be.
So she just looks at you and she says,
"Feared KGB group in the world, and like literally the known Battletech universe, as far as I know.
Yeah,
right? They're like the most dangerous group, and everyone's like, "Yeah, get over it. This is like the 5th time."
Yeah, our trainer, Vega Kane, impressed upon us at a very young age that we would always be hunted and hated by the Draconis Combine, and that we just need to be ready to eliminate the sources of our problems. Look, I know I might give this impression that I'm totally innocent and naive, but I am trained in the house skill set.
I know. You were trained. I know more now than I did when I met you, and I'm glad.
She's like, I hope so.
What I love, I guess, one of the things that drew me to you was how you wield your perception as a weapon. How everyone underestimates you, and how you use that to your best advantage.
That is very mean to say.
What?
You make it sound like I'm some sort of cunning. It's about compartmentalization.
Oh man, I did not okay. Cut to like visually, I thought I was getting close to her and relating to her.
Yeah.
And instead it's like I'm in a minefield.
Yep.
All of a sudden there's like mines everywhere. Okay. Oh, okay. That's what we're doing right now. Okay. And
I mean,
like,
just like
what do you mean? And then immediately
just be clear, just like Kuro, she's a trained ninja assassin. So
yeah. No, are you doing that again? Are you doing that to me right now? Are you doing that? Like, are you? Wait a second. Yeah, she doesn't have to answer. I let her she gets the better of me at this point, but I'm just playing. I'm like, wait a second. Did you just try to? I'm already lost. She got in my head.
So do any of you have amendments to the McDougal joint jobs program bill?
Yeah. Yes and no. Okay. I do. I mean, I've been listening to my house, and I've been listening to House Davies. Does House Davies have an input or anything strong about how I should be doing anything this year? Same thing with the Herzogs, right? Like I absolutely been listening to these people as advisors for things.
Arkady is a little busy running,
Sure.
you know, the agromech business. He's actually unusually busy.
Yeah, I know. He's been doing the training and the I know.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of wondering, like, I don't want to get like gotcha'd, and I've been listening to them. So if they had any sort of advice or anything that they would want me to,
Davies would love it if you could get a tax cut for agricultural business.
Yeah, I know.
Like if you could sneak that in there, it'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
I mean, not. They kind of give me an idea, because I mean, Kuro was already considering going to Vega. But that's maybe for...
Actually, Vega summons you.
Yeah, okay.
He summons you to your family's dojo, where he is in an all-black, you know, kimono gi style gi. He's in a martial arts outfit for sure. The hakama, all of that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm butchering all of this.
Okay.
But I'm sure you guys get the idea. Like, he's kneeling before your family's set of swords. When you come in, and he says, he doesn't call you Baron. He says, Kuro, kneel. And this is the kind of behavior that was acceptable when he was your trainer, right? And when you were a child.
I think Kuro says, it seems that I have fallen. And when he does so, he kneels before Vega and says, I look to your guidance. I have lost my way.
Others have tried to lead you astray, House Leader. The ancient enemy has reared its draconic head once more. Nothing else matters. The swiftest strike is the one that wins. Who lands the blow first decides the match. This is not a clash of Mechwarriors or mercenaries, but one of assassins. We must move before the enemy, and they are already in preparation. I know that you have been deeply troubled as of late, and that your wife has led you astray. But stick to the ancient familial code. It is not a time of peace, but a time of war. These are my teachings to you.
And I think Kuro just like, I'm trying to think, like, decorum wise, I don't remember if like you look at the person if they're admonishing you, or but either way,
he's not admonishing you in any way. He's trying to help you remember your childhood lessons.
Right.
Just be clear, your parents basically had you indoctrinated in the same way they were indoctrinated, and he's trying to trigger that past behavior.
Right. Which Kuro was trying to divert from to some extent, because
he's trying to bring it back.
Yeah.
He's like, stop talking to your wife, stop talking to other people. It's time to follow the ancient codes. It's murder time.
And I think Kuro bows respectfully and gets back up and looks Vega in the eyes and says, I thank you for your wise words.
Do you require any other counsel or assistance, my lord?
I would... There is much to be considered. With the ghost hand moving in a more aggressive manner towards us, we must move quickly.
There is another. Hear that you are having problems with a small dog whose bark is larger than its bite.
Yes.
I would put the creature out of its mercy.
I'm trying to think of like a way of saying this in like a code. So I think
to be clear, he's asking you for permission to go kill Sebastian Bassett.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I believe this hound has. I'm trying to think of like how to phrase when a dog reaches an old age, has reached its ripest of ages. It seems to have a cancer that is inoperable. Please.
So he gets up and heads over to a wall panel, which he touches, and it rotates. So it no longer looks like a traditional dojo, but now it looks like an armory. And he grabs a bunch of really obvious Draconis Combine internal security force gear, like Shimatsu 42 assault rifles and like Draconis Combine mustard soldiery grenades. And he's just like, do not worry, my lord. No matter what happens, it will appear as if our enemies are attacking each other. A den of snakes, all biting.
Make it so. And
but do not return. Please honor my family with my sacrifice.
Only the greatest honor to your family.
Okay. So yeah, he starts gathering up like slightly outdated Draconis Combine internal security force uniform that's like 10 years old, and all sorts of, like slightly dated and surplus, but still good enough that it could be considered, like if someone gets caught with all this stuff, someone will be like, yep, they're definitely internal security force, 100% execution time.
Yeah.
All right.
Good
all right.
stuff.
So you ordered the assassination of another sovereign baron. This is technically an act of treason.
Your treason.
I mean, he was trying to essentially extricate me in a obstruction of justice case and all sorts of other shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have gone legally with it, but you know what? This will make a lot of people happy. So,
Audience,
I like it.
I want to know. Let me know on Discord. Let me know in the comments section. What do you think?
Yeah. Did Kuro make a mistake here?
I was gonna say, like, it's been a little while. Kurl's been tormented. I'd still say flippy floppy, but now he's just like, all right, you want to kill him? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think at this point, like with everything that's been going on, Kuro's just like, fuck it.
This is some Sun Tzu shit. Your enemies fight each other.
Yeah, well, and I think part of it is that like Kuro has basically like was in torment, and then Vega's words just like snapped him to like the indoctrinated state where he's just like, we must get what needs to be done. This is an obstacle, we must remove it.
All right, Eric, you can mark down that you can remove your bad negative trait. Everybody gets 3 experience points.
Woo!
Next part 11 will be the Senate session and the end of the year.
Whoa.
Period. End of story. That's exactly what's going to happen, guys. Nothing else.
I think it may. Like, I feel like what we did today is going to make the Senate session go faster.
Yes, I agree as well.
I agree.
Remember when we had a volleyball episode?
Yes.
Oh my god, that was great.
There's some people who are really confused as to why we had a volleyball episode.
For player
They asked me, why is Eric
that.
trying to make this a volleyball episode? And I was like, I don't have control of that. Eric does what he wants.
You asked me to say, yeah, I said a scene.
I liked it.
Damn. Yeah.
Hey, look, I am not the
And we
audience.
only
I only convey their words.
Yeah. Just like your game, in your Rogue Trader game, you're like, cool, business lunch. Let's go.
Exactly.
Every scene's a business lunch. Sometimes I'm going to mix it up and throw a volleyball scene in it.
Listen, don't remind me about that Rogue Trader game. I was so ashamed last night.
I know. Yeah, your arm, I didn't see the end of it, so don't spoil it. But I saw your arm get a little, little spiced.
It was bad.
A little seasoned. Okay,
did not end well for me.
All right.
I have enough XP now where I can get 3 total SP points. So if anyone has any recommendations of what Kuro should take for
next
that.
level of lucky, because you never use it.
I
know.
Better mech.
That's what. Buy a better mech. Oh my god! Did my video freeze?
Yep.
Yeah, your video froze.
Okay, we're at the end. Let's do some outros, starting with
What? We don't do outros on the show.
we do light outros.
Oh, okay.
We're doing light outros right now.
Okay.
So what do you got? We'll just freeform it.
Who's going first?
Yeah. Does anyone have any interesting projects coming up for their personal stuff? We're doing light outros because we've got another minute or two.
I am on Unmade Gaming's channel on Wednesdays playing City of Mist. We just started a second season of our campaign, so come on by if you're interested. We're doing lots of noir, detective-y bullshit mixed with kind of anime bullshit, so it's fun.
Kind of anime bullshit is my favorite bullshit.
If you're this deep into this show and you're watching it, then you probably know about my Pendragon game. But that's Mondays, and you can catch up on it on YouTube.
Daddy, you got anything going on?
You're frozen. I'm like the best face for outros. It's like,
can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, because my Zoom totally froze. So like I can't even.
Don't worry, we can hear you. Your voice is coming
cool.
to us from the great beyond.
Yes, the whiteness is taking me over. No, I'm currently working on my own personal projects. I'm making a game, if you can believe it, like in a video game specifically. But yeah, it's been a long project that I've been working on. So just maybe one day I'll actually stream some development of it. That's kind of what's going on my plate.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. I have a new Cyberpunk show Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and you can catch it on YouTube.
Nice.
That's it for
nice,
me.
Dude.
I did a Battletech, A Time of Total Warfare GM prep, I suppose I should say. Episode 5. You can also find that on YouTube. Have a good afternoon, friends at home.